Welcome back. Tonight in the Hot Box with me, White Earth Community Reservation community member Michael Dahl. Michael, thanks for joining me tonight. As you know, we did a story last week talking about White Earth Reservation, some of the drug use, the crime. And I want to play a clip for you in a moment because a lot of people on the reservation were not real happy with Valley News Live about the story and the context of it. And Amy Unruh, at the very end of her story, after visiting with the chief of police, had this to say.
Now, to give you a sense of just how dangerous the area is getting to be, as I was leaving the police station, the sun was setting, and Goodwin told me it would not be safe for me to be outside.
That's the chief of police. Why would he say that to Amy Unruh if it's not true?
I suppose for somebody who isn't of our area and isn't aware of how our communities really react, you know, and not in defense of Randy in any way, you know, but again, looking at that story and whatnot, maybe from his perception it's not safe, but from the community's perception, we walk around, you know, we drive around. I work after hours. You know, I drive through the communities after dark. I walk through the communities after dark.
Would you say that he's not doing his job, being the chief of police, and then come out and saying, hey, this community is not safe?
I would say he has an ability to paint a picture of safety, that's the job of any police officer, the director of our public safety, our police chief, is to paint a picture to contradict and to ensure the safety of our people. So in saying something, if there's a quote of that his job was then to say, you know, could have been said, it gets cold, maybe you should hit the road, it's getting late, you know, sun's going down, it's chilly, roads are bad, but to paint a picture of it's not safe here and therefore you need to leave is something that got a lot of our community really upset.
And why specifically?
Because we don't feel that way. As a community, we don't feel that way. We know there's safety issues, you know, and we know that we have drugs and alcohol and violence. We know that, we're aware of that, but do we feel unsafe? You know, and even if we do, we know the proper precautions, you know, and where to go, where not to go.
But then to defend him, because you just said, hey, you know what, this is a gentleman that made this statement that's not necessarily part of our community. Amy Unruh is not part of your community. Was he saying that in more protective measures for Amy's sake since she's not part of the White Earth Reservation community?
Possibly.
So is it a fair statement then for him to say that?
In context, no. In knowing, being aware of the ability and the possibility of that being a quote to go out to the masses, no. You know, the awareness of that, like even myself right now, I'm totally aware that what I say is reflecting my reservation and my people as a whole. So I'm going to watch and be careful that that's not the only thing that I point out, that I do point out the positivity, the good things that are going on in our community, while at the same time acknowledging that, yes, we have issues. We do have issues, but what are we doing to counteract those issues? That's our job, is to, when in the public eye, to make sure that the people know across the board that we're not just sitting back and letting these issues sit, and rather than deal with the issues, tell people hurry up and get out because we have issues. We tell the people this is what we're doing about these issues. And
so I want to ask you more about Randy Goodwin, again, the chief of police there on the White Earth Reservation. Obviously, I did some homework after this story ran with Amy Unruh, and we saw what happened on our Facebook page. Some people telling me that he might even be colluding with some of these drug dealers. He knows where they're at. He knows what's going on, and yet is not doing anything about it. Is there any truth to that?
That I don't really know, because I don't really converse with Randy myself. You know, I do know that where our drug dealers are and where these issues are pretty much common knowledge throughout the community. We know who they are.
So if it's common knowledge throughout the community, why would the chief of police know that?
Because he should know that.
That's what I'm saying. So if he knows that and he's not doing anything about it, again, is he not doing his job?
I think he can do his job better. I'll put it that way. In really putting the heat on the drug dealers, that when we know where our drug dealers are, you know, we can't just run in, that there are legal parameters to follow and procedures to follow to perform a drug bust. However, there is nothing against the law for when a cop knows that said house is a drug dealer, then park your car there. Park your car right at the end of their driveway. Park your car down the street. Don't park it at the store at midnight where nobody's at. Don't park it on the corner where nobody's at. Park it right outside that drug dealer's house at midnight.
So let me ask you this. Amy Unruh is that camera right there. She's standing there. Would you be comfortable? Sun's going down. She's about to leave the reservation saying, Amy, you're fine. You can stay here as long as you want. There's nothing to worry about.
I wouldn't do that. I just wouldn't do that. I would say, Amy, would you like, if you'd like to talk to some other people, I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Not because I fear your safety, but because as a community, you know, I'm not going to open my door to a stranger, you know. But if somebody from my community comes to my home and says, hey, Michael, we got somebody here that'd like to talk to you. Okay, let's talk a little bit.
We got some great feedback on our Facebook page. I want to get to some of those comments. And as well, for you out there, if you've got specific questions for Michael, please join our conversation. We're going to give up the slide. You can go to our website, the phone number there. We do get your voicemails. It's also just as easy to text the phone number. And also you can email us as well. Go to the website, 630-POV. When we come back, we're going to get to some of your specific comments that were posted on our Facebook page for Michael Dahl from the White Earth Reservation. Welcome back to 630 Point of View. Tonight in the Hot Box, Michael Dahl, a community member from the White Earth Reservation. As always, please join our conversation. You can do that by going to our website, 630pov.com. Earlier, we had a bunch of Facebook comments on the Valley News Live Facebook page. I want to start with some of those comments, then propose those to Michael and have him sort of give us his feedback and thoughts on them. If we can bring up the first one here, please, from Susie Ballot. She says, those were tactics. She's talking about the chief of police here, Randy Goodwin, and his comments that he made to Amy Unruh about it being unsafe. Those were tactics by the chief of police to get more funding money for a job he isn't doing. My daughter was raped in April. I was told they were not going to investigate because she committed suicide. Her clothes still sit in the evidence room in White Earth. Michael?
Susie's my sister, and that is the truth. When my niece was raped, reported a rape in April, and as a result of that, in June, she committed suicide. And to this day, still 7 months later, well, almost a year later since the report of her rape, we're still waiting to hear if there's been any kind of investigation towards it. We were told that because she had committed suicide, that there wouldn't be any charges being brought up. So it brought about a lot of things that there, again, you know, and emphasizing the goodness of our community that, you know, we did take hold of that.
I want to tip my hat to you because you're staying very calm. I'm not going to be calm. Give me a break, dude. Because she committed suicide, there's no investigation into a young girl that's proven to be raped?
They say that it's because it's not proven that she's been raped, that there hasn't been an investigation, and that's where our family and our community as a whole
So
are
why
really
is there no
upset.
investigation?
We have no answer. We have no answer.
You can't get an answer
even
from a
assume.
tribal council person, from this chief of police?
We haven't gotten anything. To my knowledge, we keep being told the same thing, and that is that her...
Is it because this guy's not doing his job, or what's the deal?
In our opinion, right at this moment, I think we feel that there could be more done. There could be more done, at least an interview, at least letting us know that there's some sort of steps towards justice, legal justice for our girl, you know, because we know that just since we started this project here called Beat Dobbin's Buttons, that was my niece's Indian name, Beat Dobbin. Since we started that on October 30th, we've had I'd say probably upwards of 20, 30 young men and women come forth with their own stories about sexual assault that nothing has been done.
Let's get to the next Facebook comment. This is from April Joe. Right people, I'm assuming she's talking about white people, stereotype us enough the way it is just because some people are having a hard time and struggling. I feel like you're putting down all of my people, and that's just plain sad. Every race has problems, but we've got to be the ones picked up or picked on. What's up with that? I want to get to this because something that's a challenge for me. My granddad taught at the Native American school down in Wahpeton. You look at the Native American culture, probably one of the most industrious, if not the most industrious culture in the history of the world. And then I look at reservations today, alcoholism rampant, unemployment rampant, drug abuse rampant, sexual abuse rampant. Why?
A big part of it, in given the time allowance, is historical trauma. It's something that we've come to realize. And over the last 10 years, I'd say there's been a lot of research put into historical trauma, i.e. in my own family, both my grandmother, you know, just 2 generations away, was taken away. No notice, no nothing. Just come in, take 5-year-old little girl and slap her in a school.
Would you say historical trauma, though? I think, again, for the white race, it's hard to understand what you're saying. And I frame it this way. Who said the white culture is the right culture? I feel like we just sort of said, hey, our culture is the right way to go. You guys fit in, or, you know, go deal with it. Talk about how challenging it is to try to integrate into a white culture.
It is difficult, you know, because our culture as a whole and our way as a whole is one of rhythms and of the way that things move. And that's the way we move. We're living on and with and for the land. You know, when we have our rice camp, we go to where the rice is, and then we set our winter camps. And then when the winter starts to break, then we have our sugar bush camps, and we're hunting, and we're fishing, and we're gathering, and we're trapping. And then all of a sudden, you know, like my cousin, he knows right off. He can go all the way down to southern Minnesota and follow the rice as it ripens until he gets up north. Now all of a sudden, that was common knowledge 100 years ago, and now we're told you can only rice in this 40 by 40 square mile area. And then now you can no longer live as the way we wanted you, that you know of, for thousands of years.
Michael,
And
we're
to
going to
undo
get
that.
back to this conversation. Thanks for being here tonight. I appreciate it. Hopefully there's some movement
Hopefully.
with what happened in that situation. Stay with us. As always, we're going to get to your feedback. We had a bunch of great feedback from last week, and that's been taking place right now during the show. I want to invite you to go to our website, continue the conversation. Please go to 630pov.com. Stay close. We'll be right back.